Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Hello, I'm just looking up at my old bit of TV collection for upcoming videos. One thing that has always been when it comes to Star Trek, it has always been very prevalent, is the use of computers.
Computer? Computer? Hello, computer.
Just use the keyboard.
The keyboard. How quaint.
And that is what we're talking about. Our friend's computer, whether it is referring to the times when computers could talk, the use of AI, and the use of Siri. Before we get into the the history of all that stuff, let's talk about a little bit of backstory. Well, when did when the moment in Star Trek 4, the journey home, when Sky's talking about the computers and all that, what was computers like in 1986 when that film came out?
Same spreadsheet, we'll run a clock on it and see what the difference is. Okay.
You know, this brings up an interesting question, though. Does the speed of the 386, does this obsolete the AT and the 286?
No, I don't think it obsoletes it. There will still be a significant price difference for the added performance of the 386, and I think that both the 286-based products as well as the 386-based products will have a place in the marketplace for the next several years.
This was the Desk Pro 386 system. So that was what you would find as when it came out. Compaq beat IBM to the market when it announced the Desk Pro 386, the first computer on the market to use Intel's new 803 86 chip, a 32-bit microprocessor with 275,000 transistors on each chip at 4 million operations per second and 4 kilobytes of memory. The PC gave as much speed and power as older mainframes and computers. So, also, when it comes to computers, in a lot of times and moments in Star Trek, you'd always have moments where, well, the computer would talk, say, readings or all that kind of things.
What is the good?
I am Landru.
Landru is dead. You are a machine. A question has been put to you. Answer.
The good is the harmonious continuation of the body. The good is peace.
What would be examples of today where, we would use computers to help, when talk? I mean, say we'd have, say Siri and all that. But what are, some examples of people using the computer to actually talk? Stephen Hawking is an example. Let's give a little bit of detail when it comes to Dr. Stephen Hawking. He had lived with his ALS disease since his diagnosis in 1963. Soon after his 21st birthday, although his degenerative disease had led to debilitating physical disabilities for him, it had not prevented him from conducting groundbreaking research within the fields of cosmology and theoretical physics. In 1985, his ALS advanced to the point where Hawking can no longer speak, which led him to begin using a computer system to speak for him.
You've stated that you believe there could be an infinite number of parallel universes. Does that mean that there is a universe out there where I am smarter than you?
Yes, and also a universe where you're funny.
Okay.
So let's talk about that little computer that he had always used. In 1997, Intel began assisting Hawking by designing the system he uses to communicate. The initial computer system Hawking used was operated as a hand switch, which Hawking squeezed to create the words he wanted to say. Slowly, as Hawking's condition deteriorated, Intel worked to design a different system. The new system enabled Hawking to use facial muscles to create his speech. The movement of his cheek muscles would send a message to switches attached to Hawking's glasses, which would enable him to choose letters or words on a computer screen. Even with newer auto technology, this process would be slow and laborious. The process of constructing one word for the voice synthesizer to say might take 1 minute. However, the newest advances promises up to 10 times faster communicating for Hawking. So that so nowadays, like when you have on your computer, like say, like sometimes you will go for some people they will have to use a function on your computer, which is a read to me function. Like on your computer, you also have that ability on your phones, which is honestly pretty cool because sometimes, well, like my aunt sometimes her glasses are not kind of don't always help her, so sometimes she'll have my mom or someone else to say, "What's this?" or that. So now that we've talked about that bit of process, why don't we talk about the process of AI? Which is the process known as artificial intelligence. That was used a bit in Star Trek. Artificial intelligence is say the creation of a robot that looks authentic to life.
Self-awareness. What does that mean? Why am I self-aware?
Because you are conscious of your existence and actions. You are aware of yourself and your own ego.
Commander Data, what are you doing now?
I'm taking part in a legal hearing to determine my rights and status. Am I a person or property?
And what's at stake?
My right to choose. Perhaps my very life.
AI-like applications include advanced web search engines such as Google Search, recommendation systems, YouTube, all that stuff, understanding human speech, Siri, and Alexa, self-driving cars, and all that. Although sometimes it makes me think, if self-driving cars can be used with AI, it just makes me nervous, say, okay, if you're in a car, how exactly do they say? Do they use a computer, camera to say, okay, in 20, a couple miles, or a couple, wild bit, there's another car in front of us. Well, also thanks to the use of AI, we've also have the ability to create things such as that recent episode that was created for Seinfeld, which is honestly pretty cool. But honestly, I've honestly never been the biggest fan of Seinfeld, the show. But yeah, I think that's honestly pretty cool, the fact that you're able to use AI to write television and all that. Heck, even say sometimes they'll even be used to create message bots and all that stuff. I do think the use of all that's pretty cool. It does make me feel make me a bit nervous, because sometimes it makes you want to say, okay, what could AI be used to do next? And all that. It's just a good thing we don't have a real life Megan.
Megan?
Baby, doll skill. Don't provoke, cause oh, we will go.
New primary user now. Me.
That'd be terrifying. It also makes me wonder, like, say in the future, like, if suddenly, if the use of the AI and all that stuff is, like, you know, connected to both the internet and as well as, like, software in the clouds and all that, what if all that goes down? Like, what happens to all that, I wonder? I apologize, I'm rambling on and off. That happens at times for me. But, honestly, the use of all that stuff in Trek is fairly fascinating in how all of it has changed over the years. Thanks to, well, the creation of Star Trek. But what do you all think of, you know, these computers and all that, and AI and Siri and just in general?